evening, everyone. I'm going to call this meeting to order at 7:01 p.m. Can we get a roll call, please?
Trustee Ian Garrett.
Present.
Trustee Trustee Salahuddin.
Here.
Vice President Lee.
Here.
President Tejada.
Here. Are there any changes to the agenda?
There are none.
Okay. Get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
There's nothing to report out of closed session. And now, for the recognitions and commendations, I'm going to turn this over to Ms. Basuino, Ms. Lujan for the Employees of the Year recognition.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, President Tejada. It's lovely to see this room so full this evening. Each year, staff nominates coworkers who they feel should be recognized as the Certificated Employee of the Year for the Martha Mead Educator of the Year Award, the Classified Employee of the Year, which is the Sue Cook Classified Employee of the Year, and the Administrator of the Year, or the Mike Crilly Administrator of the Year Award. This year, continuing with that tradition that began in the 2017-18 school year, we are thrilled to recognize one classified and one certificated employee from each of our sites, as well as one outstanding administrator from our district. We have a video we would like to share, which will announce all of our amazing winners this year. And Doreen and I would like to pass out some certificates, and then our superintendent and board would love to share some words, but we'll pass the certificates first. Since Doreen and I are HR, we're just going to say, move carefully, the room is a little full. All right, our first person we'd like to present is Tina Van Raphorst. Okay, and our next person is Patty Ledihan. Michelle Mangubat. Rocket. Pam Wallace. Marlon Ticas. Pat Sabillo. All right, Tracy Thomas. Ben Pham. Alan Vu. Jonathan Krupp. Leah Anderson. And Lillian Zachenko.
Thank you. So I'd like to open up comments from the board and also our student trustees, if you'd like to say anything. You don't have.
You don't have to.
You don't have to. Okay.
I am overwhelmed by all of the audience here tonight. I'm grateful for all of you being here and all your hard work and dedication to our district. Without you all, we wouldn't have the great district we have here. And so thank you for your service and congratulations to you.
So I just want to say that I can't express my gratitude to each and every one of you, whether you got an award or not, but a special recognition to those that did get an award because it's given to you by your peers. And to me, that is so meaningful because on top of all of the work that you already do, that all of you already do, that your peers pointed you out for that extra special things that you each bring. And I know, like, even in the past week, I've seen a lot of you doing so much extra stuff, not just the stuff that is required of you or your job, but other touches, seeing folks at this weekend working, et cetera. I'm looking at you, Patty. And so this year has been an exceptionally hard year. We thought the year before was challenging, and this year turned out to be even more challenging. And the burden that is placed at your feet is too great. And every day when I come in as a board member, the thing that keeps me going is what can I do to better support all of you? And I know that sometimes, I fail in that task, but I do want you guys to all understand that while some people may not understand the magnitude of what you do, I understand the magnitude of what you do. It is crowded in this room today, but it would be even more crowded if we placed all the students and families and community members that you guys have changed lives. You changed lives. And in the past year, you've been saving them. And I wish that people held you up at the standard that you deserve, but at least today that you get some small recognition. And thank you so much. Thank you.
Mr. Ochapinti, we just recognized our Employees of the Year.
Yes,
If you'd like to have any words.
Yeah, so of course it goes without saying, some of my colleagues have echoed that your work is invaluable and essential. As an educator myself and a former employee of this district, I do understand the weight of what we do in our community and what's considered, appreciated and what's considered unthankful. But I think we know that our work is in any way essential to our community and something that our community definitely appreciates. I felt that way when I got out of high school and worked at the mall down the street. And I felt that way when I worked here as a district and volunteer for the district. And I felt that way as a paid employee. And I feel that way, as a public official. So appreciating those who are still with our district. Obviously, it's very hard to maintain the cost of living in our community and all that. But through a pandemic and at this stage, your work is very much appreciated. And I think that it sets an example across our community and throughout our county to show what it means in a community like ours that has the least resources to be able to count on people to come together to provide that in any capacity. So thank you as always, and looking forward to closing the year strong.
Wow. All of you, thank you so much for the work you have done, the lives you have touched. Whether it doesn't matter what you do, every single one of you has impacted a life at each of your school sites. And the fact that your colleagues recognize each of you for the work you've done this year in particular is absolutely incredible. And I know a couple of you are retiring this year too, so what a way to go out on top. So congratulations to those of you who are retiring. And with this award, what a way to go. I mean, we should all be so fortunate to be looked upon by our peers this way. But for all of you, incredible work, incredible work. I'm just so proud of every single one of you, so proud of the work that we do to serve the 4,000 teenagers and the many adults who come through these doors for their education as well. So thank you.
Thank you. I just echo my colleagues' sentiments. This has been a really difficult 2 years, and it's this first year back after being in remote learning has been tough. You've been recognized by your peers, but you've kept us going. This board here, we've relied so much on you. Your faith in us drives us to try to do our best for you and for our students. And I always strive to live up to your expectations because you set the bar so high for us. You really do. I have a daughter in the district, and you've all just collectively, I know, have helped all of our students so much because this has been a tough year for them. I know she was impacted, and if it wasn't for every single person at her school, she wouldn't have gotten where she is now. Really, I truly believe that because we rely on all of you, and you've always come through for us, and that's the thing that makes this district so strong and special. You've always come through for us, and I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart and also on behalf of the board. Thank you so much. Ms. Prestott?
So everything has already really been said. I'm just going to add to it. When I look around this room, my heart is really filled. You really represent your communities. You were chosen by your peers. You stood out. Thank you so much for dedicating yourselves to our students and your colleagues. And I want to say, I was recently talking with somebody. It's been, as was said, this year, we thought last year was the hardest year, but we were wrong. This year was the hardest year. I'm hoping that next year gets a little better. It's a pretty tough time to be an educator and to work in schools. And I was recently, somebody was telling me, oh my gosh, it must be so hard what you do. And I said, I've worked in a few other school districts, and there's something magical and great about our school district. And what makes it magical and great are you. The people who work here and who have spent their lives here for our students. And so I just really want to honor you and thank you very, very much and congratulate you. Thank you.
Guess what? It's picture time. So all the winners, if you can meet us outside and aboard, if you could join us so we can get the whole crew together with you out there in the hallway, I would super appreciate it.
All right, so we're going to take maybe a 10-minute recess.
Sure.
Thank you. 10 minutes, 15.
Oh, jeez. Congratulations.
Yeah. we're back from our recess at 7:25. Wow. And now, who would I turn this to? For the Daly City Youth Poet Laureate recognition, I'll turn that over to Ms. Presta.
Thank you so much. So the board would like to welcome and congratulate both our outgoing Youth Poet Laureate, Madeline Herr, and the 22-23 Youth Poet Laureate, Chloe Chow, to tonight's meeting. We would also like to welcome the Executive Director of Daly City Public Library Associates, Victoria Magbilong. DCPLA hosts the Daly City Youth Poet Laureate program, and we thank them. Tonight, both Maddie and Chloe will read a poem, and we would like to present them with certificates of appreciation. I would ask both of you to please come over to the microphone. And we're going to, Madeline is our outgoing poet, will read a poem first, and then Chloe will read her poem, and then afterward, we've got some certificates to present them with. So Madeline, it's all you.
Okay, hi. This poem is about how I started with poetry and how I started to learn to open up to myself and be more honest with myself so I can improve as a writer. And this is called My Minos Labyrinth. When a barb first begins to sing, they ache for the day their calloused hands heal and part from the roughened strings of their lute. To recover, to be rich with impatience from the inability to create at the speed of their inner dialogue, they embark the journey to discover their core, to find the magazine page that inspired the garden, to complete the labyrinth like the hero Theseus navigated to find the awaiting hungered bull. In my first attempts to mirror my grandmother, I watched cluelessly as forced hymns dropped like dead weight into the engulfing mouth of the maze. Unsure footsteps prodded through muddying walkways which shine from neatly dressed layers of years of lifeless scripts written on fancy decorated paper. My lyrics were simply background music. Like the myth's brilliant red string, my blunted juvenile inventiveness stormed in, sewn in with perspiring desperation in search of a spark. In the center, I found the wallowing bull, its eyes sinking gloriously from the weight of unsung tales, its sinking hooves bronze-heavy in song, shaking the ground with yet another choreograph, because in solitude, the string of daydreams and aspirational imaginations reaches no end. I found my mother, who in a tiny room we all shared, huddled by her computer like a lioness, fingers storming over her keyboard in furious concentration, head tilted gently, floating amidst an imaginative fog, and me who watched. I found my aunt who, even in dark silence, never let go of her cello and pen, and whose words billowed through the quiet halls like expensive silk, and me who listened in adoration. I found my grandmother, who fought through suppressed silence and found comfort in artistry, making her name finally her own, and me who watched. I found my paper cranes, which I packed and unpacked countless times, cranes that had seen me leave homes for yet another. I found my porcelain cat, the terrifying doll I can't get myself to let go of, because to me it is a picture of the first time I stepped here and losing memory scares me. My intangible treasures and horrors thrive simultaneously like ivy on a wall that was my bull, my song, my realization, my knowledge of this labyrinth that exists in me. All of them, all of these true songs nestle on old napkins with words scrawled by pens stolen from raiders, wrists under sweaters during math classes, notes apps, envelopes, corners of business cards while we wait at the auto shop. And like Theseus, I carry the bull out with its head adorned in flowers, releasing with it the festering bomb's soon-to-be explosion. A climactic earthquake fizzled into a beautiful vibration, the unique song it established in the years of hibernation that had yet to be sung. When I released the cave of my stalagmite ignorance, the echo elevated to a boom. I whisper, and the cave now sings back to me in dauntless choir. And so now it airs out, and in turn is flooded with my anxiousness to tell its story. And so I pick up my lute and begin again, and this time with intent. Thank you.
Chloe.
So, hi, my name is Chloe. I'm currently a freshman at Westmore High School. My poem isn't as long as Maddie's. It's also on my phone, so. Okay. So, my poem is about my culture and what it means to me, along with what my grandparents' heritage means to me. And it's titled A Portrait of Motherland. Sometimes I can almost feel Danica, even if it's nothing but ground bark paste against skin. I can almost feel warm rainfall, the flesh of a tangerine dipping under fingers, bare feet kicking at soft, breathing soil and crawling roots under quagmire. I can almost feel fresh ginseng in my throat, like I'm spitting out the syllables of it. Words made of spilled ink fly off the page like cicadas, heavy pockets burning with moth light. There's mohinga heavy on my tongue, incense that comes with a prayer, and it whittles itself into something bronze and beautiful. Something like unpaved roads, the worn pages of piano sheets. It's in the folds of Longyi, sweeping against ankles and dirt. I can almost feel the movements of it, dancing and patient, like the quiet determination of the Burmese python dashing into the glowing sky. The clash of wind chimes and the smell of a moonlight symphony through generations. Myanmar, I can almost feel you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So the board has some certificates for you. Would you like to come out and take photos with the girls?
Yeah.
Yep, let's do that. Take pictures, thanks. Okay. If you guys come over here, we'd love to take a photo with you. Don't be shy, come on in. Hey, someone can say it. Hey, you know. It's always me. All right. Yeah, parents, get in the picture.
Get in the picture.
Parents should be in picture.
One with. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
I don't know where to look.
Just smile.
Look at Chelsea for the.
I didn't watch the
Wait, let me get the second.
Yeah, it was the unofficial one.
That was right.
Cell phone number?
Yeah.
Because it's easier than me texting you and then you, okay.
Parents, do you want to come in?
Yeah, parents, be in there.
Gosh, darn it.
Would you like to come in and we'll take a photo?
We need to recognize your There we go.
Proud parents.
Okay, thank you. Thank you both, you did great. Supposed to do that. Hello.
Oh, I see. Okay. I'm just a reminder that we do have an interpreter who is actually interpreting our words right now, so we need to speak more slowly. So I apologize myself. Okay. So I know that last night we recognized our student trustees, but so I just would like to thank Natalie and Mustafa, who are here with us tonight. Bless you. And Madeline, who had to leave early. It is finals for them right now, so if you feel like you need to leave early, please do. But Mustafa, you've been the president of the Student Advisory Council for the last 2 years. And as your peers said last night, you carried everything. You kept things going. You ran the meetings, and they really, really really think very highly of you, as do I. And so if any of the other board members would like to speak, and Natalie, as the vice president, thank you so much for everything. I know you have great futures ahead of you, and it's been my honor to work with you, to be your so-called advisor, but I basically sat back and watched you guys run everything.
So, as the other advisor, this is a sad meeting for me. Like, I'm gonna miss you guys. And, all of you did such great work, and we spoke to that yesterday. But Mustafa, I just wanna say to you that, you're an exceptional leader. I hope you understand that. And, as someone who is a teenager, I am just blown away by your presence and your intelligence, and I have looked to you as a star and for guidance so often, and I'm just gonna miss having your feedback to help me make decisions. I just want you to understand how critical your voice has been for me in my time as a board member, and I'm super excited for what the world, they get to have you. I hope you come back. But, I just can't express how my gratitude for everything you've done for us for the past 2 years. And, to the parents who are here, and again, I express to your mom, you are an amazing parent because you have some phenomenal children. So thank you so much.
Yes.
Yes. So your time on the board has been, I'm sure, very interesting and very lively. One of the things I've noticed about student engagement and civic engagement is one of the things about being a student trustee is there's another threshold of engagement you have here at public meetings. And so to see you all be a part of this for as long as you have been, respectively, is one, impressive. Two, in our community where we've had student trustees for a few years, but under, I think, the pressures of current political issues in our community, very, very close to home for all of us. I want to just applaud and respect and honor your efforts and being in the middle of all these things and feeling like you can be here and speak your voice and take that with you and all the lessons you've learned here, wherever you go, moving forward. And of course, hopefully to come back, to be also inspiration to, I think, future students in our community, because it's not easy and always noted, but this does cut into your time, when you're trying to study and trying to do other things. And so it is an extracurricular activity, but it is also a duty of public service. And you should, feel accomplished in that. And it's something I would encourage you to also inspire other people in the community to do, which I'm sure you do. And of course, your parents and families who are also proud of you and are a part of that. So thank you for your service. And of course, you're always welcome to come back. Thank you.
I just want to congratulate both of you and thank you both for your service, and you're here representing the other student trustees as well. For all of you, amazing work this year. Mustafa, the special memory I have of you actually was from graduation last year, where I think there were 3 graduation ceremonies at Westmore last year. And after one of them, I can't remember which one, I'm coming up the stairs right by the theater, and there you were calling out my name, and I kind of looked around, wasn't sure who it was, and we're all wearing masks, and there you were, a lot taller than I thought because I'd only seen you on a 2-inch box on Zoom. But I just appreciated the fact that you called out just to say hello, and which speaks to the kind of person that you are. And so I'm just, again, just grateful for your work. I also remember just some of the meetings we had on Zoom back then, where you provided some significant input into our equity statement and some other things that were really powerful, and you brought a perspective that the rest of us might have missed. So thank you. And Natalie, thank you again just for your service this year. Just great work, and thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be a part of all of this.
Ditto. I do want to add that I just want to make one comment to say that you as students sometimes remind us adults that we need to be adults, because sometimes you're more adult than we are at times. So I thank you for that, for keeping us in mind, for your voice, for your passion, your dedication, even though it's finals and you're still here. And go Cal Berkeley.
Yeah, I know.
All right, thank you. So we're going to move on to communications. And we'll start with our student trustees, your board report.
The report before the report.
Discussing amongst themselves.
So, AP testing, like the regular schedule of it, was wrapped up last week, started the first week of May. But then due to like a lot of COVID cases at Westmore, I think some students missed the first week. So like some AP testing during the first week. So we do have like a bit of like some students taking makeups, which are scheduled for this week, and so that is going on. And during the breaks between AP testing, we were given like snacks and a drink, so that was nice, just to like refresh ourselves before we go in and take the next section of usually what's like a 3-hour test. And then this Friday is senior picnic, which is from 9:30 to 2:30. So there'll be like games and food for the seniors, and it is, other than graduation, it is the final senior event for this year, and seniors will be getting their caps and gowns. So that is nice.
And on Thursday this week is going to be senior checkout. Now all seniors have to submit their senior checkout slip prior, or on Thursday, before or on Thursday, in order to be checked out. Also, graduation is next week on the 25th of May. Did they release what time it was yet? 2:30. Yeah, and apparently like no tickets are needed, so there's no limit. Is that right? Yeah. I guess there's no limit, so.
Yay.
The more the merrier.
That's right. Make up for the last couple of years too.
Thank you. Ms. Garrett?
I will be quick because it's been a lot of nights of celebration, but I do want to say that it was an honor to be at the 100th year anniversary celebration last Friday. Thank you for those who put it together. Did a wonderful job, and it was an honor to see the fruits of our labor with the teacher and staff housing, all the hard work that everyone's put in, and it was just what an honor to be there, to be able to see the faces of the teachers and staff that have already moved in and are going to move in, and just I'm kind of speechless with emotions, with all the joy that was happening at the event. So anyway, it was an honor for me to be there and be a part of that, to be able to make a small impact to help in getting those things rolled along. It's just really nice to see. And lots of things. I'm looking forward to graduation next week. And also it was really nice to celebrate with the retirees, all the work that they put in through the years, so many years that they've been here. You can clearly see on their faces that they love this district, and they definitely don't do it for the money. But, you know, they don't have enough money, but they all have heart, and everyone in there definitely is, it's like a family. So I think that's what keeps everyone going. So I appreciate all the hard work and dedication, all the staff, and teachers have put in through the years. So, and I'm sure lots of other things need to be said, so I'll move it along. Thank you.
Yeah, it's been a very eventful week and month. First, again, to recognize our student trustees and our employees, and I think our district as a whole, and getting through another year of in-person pandemic. I think education in the pandemic is understated in terms of what it means to be able to not only move forward, but not only to recoup whatever learning loss supposedly we've had, but in order to honor the fact that our families and our districts have lost a lot of things, our communities have lost a lot, our nation, 1 million people to COVID. But, you know, we have to move forward, and we're here, and we're doing that, and I think led by the examples of our students and our staff and our community alike. And so that, I think, is worth noting as we're closing up year one back on campus. So that's the first thing. The second, you know, and just watching what's going on in our communities, it's important to note what's happening in our world and our country. Obviously, there's been a lot of protests in support of pro-choice and over Roe v. Wade and any projected outcome of that. In addition to protests over the outcome of the elections in the Philippines and what that means for our community, not just in the Philippines, but here in Daly City, in our district, and to reject the Marcos Duterte regime and what that means in terms of human rights and civil rights and the kind of things that our community is built on because of much of the community we have here, leaving countries because of conflict and corruption in many other countries. And so seeing that, protests around that, continued protests, support human rights in Burma, in Myanmar, and as well as, I think a lot of voices just generally looking to close our year and not going back to what we used to experience, but in moving forward with something new. Again, coming back to school is not just going back to normal, but there will be a new normal. And so it's inspiring to see people in our community standing up for that and moving forward with that in mind. So as we close the year, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to graduation. I'm looking forward to finals and finishing up finals with our students. And in addition to all of that, making sure that we close the year on a positive note and that we lean in and really address a lot of the issues in our community that will still be here in the summer and still be here in the fall. We have some of those on our agenda tonight and I believe in future meetings. So looking forward to closing the year strong, and good to see everybody in our celebrations this week.
So for things that we went to, I just want to thank the board members that attended and Superintendent Presta for meeting to discuss equity in the district. I think it was a really good conversation. Those are the reasons why I became a board member, just to really have those discussions, to deep dive into certain issues and to see like what can we do to give direction that, you know, to really guide us in the direction that we feel is the best for our community, for our district, et cetera. And I think a lot of that conversation is going to come into play for items later in the agenda. And then again, to have our final student advisory student trustee meeting yesterday. It was a really nice meeting and good celebration. I want to really give a shout out to Austin, who couldn't be here today, Austin Warden, and the entire committee that put together the 100th anniversary and the ribbon cutting for our workforce housing. That was a fantastic event. It really just kind of was like one of the highlights of my year. I know it's going to be. To see all of our staff, or just to meet a lot of the staff that are moving in, that have moved in, or that are going to move in the future. I'm still kind of processing it. You know, like it's still, even though it's right there and I've walked the hallways, it's still like I cannot believe it. So I'm just staying eternally grateful to everyone and just a testament to the work that we can accomplish. You know, a small district of, 4,000 students with a very small staff in the district office, what we can do when we all pull together in unity towards a common goal. And then I also would just like to talk about just the recent events. There's been a lot of events outside of us, outside of the district, that have not been great and that are weighing on me. And I think the one thing that I do to control it is just, sorry. The one thing I do to control it is to just, like, what can I do where I live? What can we do to just be better ourselves? And so I'm happy that we're continuing the discussion of how do we make our district a place where everyone feels welcome? How do we make our district a place that everybody feels belonged? No matter how you come to us or who you are, that you belong and you have a place in this district. And that is an ongoing discussion. That work never ends. But I'm happy to be a part of the district that is willing to be vulnerable enough to have that discussion and to keep that progress moving forward.
So much to discuss, but I do want to again echo the thanks and gratefulness I have for what we did on Friday, May 13th, with the centennial celebration and the ribbon cutting and the work that Mr. Austin Warden did with his team of folks to put it on. And then again, can't say it enough, thank you again to Tina Van Raphorst and Stephanie Phillips in particular for the ongoing work over the past several years to make sure that this building sits out there. And knowing that some of the staff who are here present tonight for employee recognition have a really terrible commute to just walk across the parking lot into that building to go home. I mean, come on. It's just fantastic. And I'm with you, Kalima. I drive past that building and I just wonder, how the heck did we do this? But it was us being single-mindedly focused to make sure that this thing was gonna happen. We weren't gonna let anything stop us. And now it's there. And to be able to walk it and tour it with different school board members from throughout the county who were excited for us and maybe just a tiny little bit jealous of us, maybe a lot jealous. It was really fantastic, to be able to just show, that this can be done and that when we have the courage and desire and the will to do something, we can make it happen. And so to think about the fact that 25% of our staff will live there, that means, we're going to start to see the data over the next year or two on what that means for us for retention purposes and recruiting purposes, and how can we then do the next level work we've been trying to do as a district, right? This equity work that we've been talking about and other programs that we want to be able to implement because we will have stable staff. And so it just feels great that this first phase of our master plan to do incredible work for our district is complete. And as more of these folks move in and to hear their stories of joy, of community is phenomenal. So thank you.
Okay, great. For me, I'm physically hampered with this broken foot, so for the last 6 weeks, it's been hard for me to get around, and I'm having a lot of pain, so I try not to go anywhere. It's rough, and then just having suffered so many losses in the last few months, Jefferson, lost my best friend, and someone very close to me, and sometimes I just don't want to go anywhere. I can't be around people. But Andy picked me up. He took me to the meeting tonight. It's when I'm here with you, it's when I get the emails about what's going on with our district that it's giving me, I've made it a priority in my life. It's my children, my family, and this district. That's all I have room for. That's all I have. And being at that celebration on Friday, and then just now talking to Mr. Krupp in the hallway where he's so grateful to have moved in, because, I told him, it's your voice that sometimes I hear when I'm thinking about all the work that we had to go through to get that housing going because of all those meetings that we've heard teachers saying, you know, they can't afford to stay in our district, but they love our district. And we just had to thank them for sticking with us. And that's basically what I'm doing now for all of you. I'm sticking with you. So you're all really important to me. I thank you for everything that you do for us. This is hard work that we do because we do work. I think this is the hardest working board. I'm just going to say, we work really hard. And so I just want to say I'm here for you. And I feel like the work that you're doing, you've been here for me because you are lifting me up. And I need you. So thank you for that.
President Shada, I forgot, I just want to highlight that I also went to the Shine Festival.
Yeah.
And that was back for the first time since COVID. And I just want to highlight again the entire staff at Jeff. And of course, Raina, who puts that together every year. It was so nice to see people out together in community. And then the last, I do want to just give a shout out to PCT and everything that they do for our school district and, you know, even being at the 100th anniversary. And I know that they are struggling right now to continue to, you know, be housed in a location. And so I just want to say to everyone watching, if you have time to really check out PCT website and see how you can help them so that they can continue to, you know, bring democracy into people's homes.
Great. Thank you. Ms. Presta?
So I'm going to reiterate some things that were already said, but I'm going to try to be quick about it because as was also stated, this is a long night of us talking. I too am really grateful to work with a board who places an emphasis on equity. And I really appreciated our Saturday that many, many trustees were there. I want to echo that it was joyous to be there Friday at the celebration, and I want to thank Austin, who isn't here. I think all of that planning wore him out. So he's down for the count, but we're grateful to him. I'm very grateful to him and the whole committee because it was really a great day. And thank you again to Tina and Stephanie because you did the heavy lifting of the work these last couple of years, and it's a beautiful building. I want to congratulate the retirees and the employees of the year. And we had a really, we had a meeting last night, a reception last night for the student trustees and the student advisories. So we put the student trustee names in tonight so that they'd be sort of recorded in the board meeting record. But Natalie is still here, so I want to say, Natalie, it makes me so happy. One of the kind of not so great things about being a district office administrator is that you don't see kids all the time. You don't see students all the time. And the student advisory group is a group that at least I do get to see on a regular basis. So I saw Natalie last night and she hugged me, and it just, that's really, I mean, frankly, we're all teachers. You know, we all started off as teachers. So you guys are what brings me the most joy. So thank you. And I also want to say that there is so much, I want to thank the principals who don't come here every board meeting, so they're not in front of my eyes for me to thank, but the principals are holding it down, and the vice principals, the administration at the school sites are holding it down like so well, and it's just so many things going on right now, especially at this time of year. So we already said this has just been a really hard year. There's also a lot of really wonderful things happening. Proms are happening, graduations are happening. So we're also, you know, back to normal in a way, though COVID is kind of rampant right now. We're back to normal. So they're holding it down in all these different ways, and I'm just really grateful to them. We have really talented people working in our school district. I thank my team. I hope I thank them a lot. I think about thanking them all the time. But there's, and my right hand, Chelsea, there are so many celebrations happening at this time of year, and school's happening, so AP exams are happening, and kids planning for next year is happening. So much, and so I will leave it at that. Thank you to everybody for sort of holding it down right now, and we have a few more weeks left in the school year, or maybe a week actually, just 1 week, a week left. So I look forward to seeing everybody at graduations next week. And then we'll have a little bit of a calm in the summer, and we're ready for next year. Thank you.
Now for Ms. Casey with the 1481 report.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. I can't believe it's a week and a half left. I mean, it's just, I looked at the calendar and it's like, oh my gosh. So, last week I had an interesting week. I went to the elementary school board meeting. They were doing something that I was in favor of that we are also doing. So I won't talk about that now, but I just want to say that, it was great to go to the board meeting and speak on behalf of my community, which is the LGBTQ plus community, and I was very proud that I had worked at Jefferson Elementary School District and they were doing this and we are doing this, and I knew we were already doing it, so I wasn't worried about that. So I was very excited to support them. Let's see. The things that are happening out in the world are also happening on our campuses in a smaller scale, so we need to make sure we support our students and our staff, because some people don't know how to deal with all of the things that have been happening in the world in the past few years. And so some of that violence or aggravation or, unsettlement is happening. So we just need to be aware of it and be supportive of each other and try to show each other the love that we really do have for each other as much as possible. I went yesterday, was it yesterday? To Sacramento to the California Labor Federation Joint Legislative Conference. It's run by the Cal Labor Fed, and we're a part of, our union is a part of the San Mateo Central Labor Council. And it's nice to go to these types of things because most of the unions are trade unions and building unions. And so they often don't understand what's going on in schools. So to be there and to be supportive is really, really good for us to support them and them to support us. And so what's happening is there are bills that are going to the legislature that are supporting workers, supporting, fair wage, housing. And so to be there and support the unions and to support the legislature that they are supporting. We had a list of people in the Senate that are 100%ers. They vote 100% for unions, so we celebrated them. So it was really nice and interesting. Very different than education being there, but it's, again, we're all in this together. We're all trying to make a better world for workers, and I appreciate our district and especially Tina and all of you for always trying to do the best by our staff, because, that helps our students, and that's what we're here for, is for our students, but we have to have the staff to help our students. So thank you. That's all.
And the COVID-19 response update, Ms. Jones?
Good evening. Nice to see you all today. According to the San Mateo County Department of Health, COVID-19 cases continue to rise in San Mateo County and the Bay Area region, with cases in San Mateo County now at 40 per 100,000 population. As I mentioned at the last board meeting, JUHSD is mirroring the county, and we are seeing similar trends. In January, we had 443 positive cases reported. In February, we had 103 positive cases reported. In March, we had a total of 18 cases reported. In April, we had 185 cases reported, and as of today, we have 113 positive COVID cases reported to date for May. We have been allocated an additional set of at-home tests by the state and received an additional 8,000 tests this week. As we currently have tests available, we believe the best thing we can do is to provide easy access to rapid testing, as well as encourage masking at each school site. Each of our school sites has access to rapid testing on site, and we are also making at-home tests available to our staff who report a positive case so they can easily test at home before returning to our work sites. Additionally, we are set up for continued testing provided by the California Department of Public Health for our extended school year and summer school programs. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Actually, I'd like to pull one item.
Mr. Ochapenti, what was that?
I'd like to pull an item from the consent agenda.
Already a motion, a second on the floor.
Well, he did actually.
I was speaking before it was seconded, and I would appreciate.
Yeah, so I've called upon you. So you wanted to pull something, and that is because, what is that you wanted to pull?
Item 12D21.
12, what?
12D21.
14?
14 it is.
D as in David?
Let me read it to you. It is the 14D21. It is the contract amendment with Cornerstone Earth Group Incorporated for geotechnical engineering services.
So you wanted to pull that because you needed clarification.
I'd like to discuss it, yes.
In order to make it, to vote on it. Yes?
That's why we pull items, yes.
Okay, because in our governance handbook, which we now have a copy of, we're encouraged to ask questions regarding consent items in advance of the meeting. So I'm just reiterating that for the entire board, that pulling items from consent should be the exception rather than rule.
This is legal
With
procedure.
that said,
yes.
you want to pull it, so we will pull that.
This is legal procedure. Thank you.
Okay. So with that item pulled from consent, we have a motion to approve
So moved with that amendment.
with that amendment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And now for public comment. Do we have any public comment on items not agendized?
No.
Okay. And now on for the action items, we will discuss the item that was pulled, 14D21. So with the Cornerstone Earth Group Geotechnical Services, Engineering Services Contract Amendment, Mr. Ochapenti, what?
Can we move that to the bottom of the action items instead of having to go first?
Okay, what was that?
I'm getting a message that we are for interpretation.
Okay.
If we can take more pauses,
Okay.
especially when we introduce people to the microphone, and also Trustee Ochapenti and Trustee Salahuddin, please speak closer to the microphone or speak louder.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so Ms. Salahuddin, you requested that we move that contract item to the end of
Yes.
action items?
Yes, just because I know we have speakers and one of them is young for the item 16A1, just so we can.
Okay, okay, we will do that then. So now with the action items, 16A1, the resolution number 2021-22/19, recognizing June as LGBTQ plus Pride Month in the JUHSD.
Thank you. So Jefferson Union High School District is committed to supporting dignity, equity, and visibility for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and others. Pride Month is celebrated in June, and as such, LGBTQ plus people and allies come together in various celebrations of Pride to support the community's right to live their lives out loud. The rainbow flag and/or the progress flag will be flown at the district office and all of our schools during the months of June, July, and August. We've added the months of July and August as school is out by June, and we wish to ensure that all students and staff are on site when the flags are flown. And I want to thank Monica Casey for asking me to add those months. It had not even crossed my mind, and it was such a smart thing to do. So with that, I recommend that the board pass the resolution before you.
Okay. We do have public comment on this item.
Yes, we do. And our first speaker is Victoria Magdalene.
Thank you all so much. Can you hear me? Is the mic on? Oh, sorry. It sounds quiet to me. As a parent of 2 students at Jefferson High School, I'd like to speak in support of flying the Pride Progress flag at all school sites. Sorry, I'm going to take this off because I'm having trouble speaking. I'm familiar enough with all of you on the Board of Trustees to know that I don't need to stand up here or sit here and try to convince you that flying this flag is a great way to demonstrate to our LGBTQ plus students and their friends that our district supports them. And I'm so glad that my children are enrolled in a school district that allows its students freedom of expression around their gender and sexuality. But I know that this support is not demonstrated in all of our students' homes. For instance, Jefferson High School has an LGBTQ plus club where one of my children is an officer. When I suggested to the club advisor that they might want to march in Jefferson's Centennial Celebration Parade last March, she let me know that very few of the club members are out to their families, so that wasn't really feasible. That breaks my heart. Sorry. Knowing that this lack of support, get emotional, is a huge reason that we have such high rates of depression and even suicide amongst our LGBTQ plus students. It absolutely doesn't have to be that way. While no school can fully compensate for acceptance that students aren't getting at home, one thing schools can do is to create a safe space for them to be their authentic selves. Flying the Pride Progress flag is a demonstrable way to send a message to all of our students that we are proud of them and that they can and should be proud of themselves just the way that they are. My hope that this symbol of pride will ease the burden that some young people are forced to carry by not feeling that they can be honest and open with their families. If we can make life easier for even one student, it's totally worth it. Thank you, and my apologies for getting emotional, but it's an emotional topic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Eden Magbalon.
We're hugging you in spirit as well.
Yeah.
Hello? Is this thing on? Okay. My name is Eden Magbilang, and I am a student that attends Jefferson High School. I'm here to speak in favor of flying the Pride Progress flag at Jefferson Union High Schools during Pride Month, along with the months of July and August. It is vital that we show support to the LGBTQ plus students at our schools so that they are fully able to express themselves and feel welcome in their community. As a member of my school's Gender Sexuality Alliance, I have both seen and heard unkind and discriminatory statements made towards queer students attending my school. Flying the Pride Progress flag would show that the community as a whole accepts students for who they are, no matter who they love or what gender they identify as. Flying the flag at schools shows the students, supports the students, but would show support to anyone who passed by and saw it. Voting yes to fly the Pride Progress flag at schools would show support to everyone in the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The last speaker is Dana Johnson.
Thank you. Good evening. to all the school board trustees, and to all the superintendents that is in the space as well. My name is Dana Johnson. My pronouns are they, them, theirs. I identify as gender non-binary, masculine presenting. Within the county, I hold the space of LGBTQ commissioner, co-chair, as well as the Pride Initiative co-chair. I'm also here to support and speak in the support of raising the Progress Pride flag, but also taking it even to a little bit more of a step and providing a Pride Month proclamation. For those that don't know, in 2020, the LGBTQ Commission of San Mateo County, we started to invite all cities and towns within San Mateo County to support the LGBTQ community by recognizing Pride Month in June. To recognize that, we asked for them to raise the Pride flag as well as to raise Progress flag and proclamation. We had a percentage of the cities that did it there in that year. In 2021, we actually had all cities that provided a proclamation and raised the Progress Pride flag. So I'm asking for the support from your community to do that as well. This is actually the first year as a commission that we are seeing that schools, in some spaces, other public buildings, is actually looking into raising this Progress Pride flag. So we thank you for that, but ask you for a little bit more of a step and do the proclamation. We, as a commission, already have the proclamation materials written up. It would just basically be you putting in your school district names in the certain areas that is highlighted as put your name right here. So it's very simplistic, and I can share that with you. So you can know the Board of Supervisors signed a proclamation last year and is going to sign a proclamation this year asking as well for other cities and organizations to do this. So not only would you be in compliance a little, but also showing the support that you have and joining all the cities in doing this. So again, I can provide my card information for the County of LGBTQ Commission and can share that information with you in regard to the proclamation. Thank you for your time. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Those are all the cards.
Those are all the cards. Great. So you want to take a vote? Or any comments?
Do this.
I do. I have a comment or two. So I'm very happy that we're doing this. And I hope that this does help students, but I will also say in line of with what we talked about at our equity meeting that, you know, there also, I would like to see some intention behind the resolution and to continue to take action. I know we've taken steps to have non-gendered bathrooms, but can we continue that, continue that, and so that there's not just one? Because just hearing from some of the student trustees and student advisory, that the one puts a target, so it's easier to identify because there's only one bathroom to use, and if someone's just monitoring that bathroom, they know who to target. And also, as big as our schools are, limiting certain students to one bathroom in itself is not equity. I also would like to see us really lean into more education around there's so much information that is being tossed around that is based in hate around certain members of the LGBT community that I do feel like we need to maybe lean into positive, affirming information that's based in the humanity of who our students are and the struggles that they're going through to get away from the rhetoric. And so that there is another level of support and understanding. And we all know that this is, this is an extremely hard time for anybody's life. We all remember when we were teenagers and the struggles that we went through. So to add on top of that, struggling with your identity and who you are and knowing that there's a segment of the people in the United States who are campaigning and using your very existence as a, you know, as a weapon in order to further their political careers. I can't imagine trying to tackle all that as a teenager. So anything that we can do to help, you know, train staff and our students and our community about, you know, not just that we're doing this proclamation, but the why of why we're doing it and why it's important. To me, to put some intention and some action behind this resolution, raising the flag, and the future proclamation.
Yeah, I just want to echo that. I think it's good to see this. Glad the county is here to help advance this. I think resolutions and proclamations may not always have an impact in terms of policy, but they should. And they should be a precursor at the very least to advancing not just policies, but initiatives and implementing and funding programs that actually serve and speak to these issues in a progressive way. And so just as we're seeing, and we've seen this year, our students have stood up for gender equity and for just, I think, not just that sense of equality and equity, but education that serves that. And our Daly City Youth Health Center, which has been doing that work for decades, and advancing that work along with our educators and our students and families in our community, has been essential in getting to this point. But as we know, there's a lot of bias and discrimination in our communities, nevertheless. And seeing flags, even at the BART station in recent years, for the first time, maybe ever, I've seen in Daly City and in San Mateo County, was a noticeable impact, and it felt good to see that, to know that our community has that embrace and embraces everybody as part of our community, because those are the kind of things we should be teaching our youth, and that's the kind of message that we should be emphasizing in our classrooms. And so I think in step with other resolutions we've considered, we should absolutely consider this, and even encourage this kind of curriculum in concert with ethnic studies as we're exploring that and beginning that actually this fall. So thank you for this presentation, and for everybody who's spoken, and looking forward to next steps for Pride Month.
There are no more comments?
Just one.
All right.
I would just recommend that we fly the progress flag, given the comments that we've heard this evening, and given that we are predominantly a community of color. So move to approve this resolution.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
One note, we had already purchased the pride flag, and then I realized we should have purchased progress flags, so they're on order.
Okay.
So if they don't get here in time, we're going to start with the pride flag, but
Okay.
it's my intent to have a progress flag.
Now we're going to move on to human resources. We have, I think, Ms. Lujan.
Good evening, everyone. Okay, our first item before us this evening is a tentative agreement with Teamsters 856. The tentative agreement includes some revisions to contractual language and an update to the 21-22 salary schedule, as well as some additional days added to the 22-23 school year. These changes are consistent with much of what was agreed to with AFT.
To approve the TA with Teamsters 856.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You may proceed.
Okay, I'll just go right through. Our next item this evening is a side letter agreement that updates our paraprofessional salary schedule range, moving it from range 29 to range 34. We believe that this will help with recruitment and retention of our paraprofessionals.
To approve the paraprofessional salary schedule side letter agreement.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You may proceed.
Thank you, President
going.
Tejada. Our next item this evening is a department head side letter agreement. This side letter agreement takes the department head stipend for department heads who have 7 or more sections and adds that to the salary schedule, so that way it positively impacts their STRS retirement.
Move to approve the department head's sides letter agreement.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, our next item this evening is a side letter for the adult school salary schedule. It strikes the language that step 4 is the highest step for an adult school teacher who only has a BA. This change is something that a change we made to the day's certificated salary schedule with, and so this is just to bring consistency across units.
To approve the adult school salary schedule side letter agreement.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. The next HR item this evening is the result of some amazing work with collaboration with AFT, I have to say. A committee came together, and I'm very grateful to be bringing this side letter before you this evening. Through this collaborative process, the changes include changes to the compensation to help with recruitment efforts, and language of improvements to help bring clarity around the roles of the activities director as well as the athletics director. So improvements to language as well as compensation.
Move to approve the extracurricular, co-curricular activities side letter agreement.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 6.
Item 6 this evening. This side letter agreement brings back the split shift language back into the contract. We mistakenly thought we might not need it, but in reviewing positions, we realized that this language is very helpful in ensuring we don't create positions that are guaranteed overtime.
Move to approve the bus and van driver side letter agreement.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 7.
Item 7 is a job description update to the adult division evening receptionist position. This position was called the adult division evening coordinator, which got flagged as needing a credential based on the job title. Upon a review of the actual duties, this position definitely should be a classified position. So we have revised the job description to accurately capture the duties as well as the appropriate classification.
To approve the job description update for the evening receptionist adult division.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 8.
Item 8 this evening. As our special is the support provider salary schedule. As our special education team has added positions that have traditionally been contracted out, like occupational therapist and BCBA, which is a board-approved certified support person, we realized that we kept adding the titles to the top of the salary schedule, and it makes far more sense to actually just make a title for the salary schedule, support provider, and list the positions under, similar to the way we do other salary schedules.
To approve the support provider salary schedule.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item 9.
Item 9 this evening. The declaration of need for fully qualified educators is something that we approve annually. At times, it is necessary to assign teachers to instruct subjects that are not authorized by their credential. This declaration enables us to do so.
Move to approve the declaration of need for fully qualified educators 22-23.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And finally, item 10.
Item 10 this evening. Thank you all very much. The final item this evening from your Human Resources team is an update to the walk-on coach salary schedule. The change to this salary schedule brings it in alignment with the changes to the co-curriculars for consistency across units.
To approve the walk-on coach salary schedule update.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
A hand to our Human Resources team. This is awesome. Thank you very much. Okay, so now we will move to item 12D1.
14D1.
14D21. The contract amendment with Cornerstone Earth Group for geotechnical engineering services. So, Mr. Ochapinti, you pulled this item because you had some questions on it?
Yeah, of course. So my first question is why we're visiting this item at this meeting today, this point in the year. It is pretty late in the year to be visiting an item about Westmore Park, given a lack of discussion about it in prior meetings. So my first question is why is this on the agenda tonight?
So we'll have Ms. Van Rapport answer that.
Can I ask the superintendent for us to want to speak to it first?
No, thank you. It's Ms. Van Rapport's item.
Right, it's her item.
So I'll just clarify that Cornerstone Earth Group has already been approved to survey the land and do soil analysis for the district for the new adult education and district office construction site. The soil was found to have some contaminants, and so the board approved a second scope of work for them to do more analysis. They finished that analysis, and because the mitigation of the soil might be complicated, we want to make sure that when the documents go out to bid for the people who are going to construct the new district office and the new adult school, that they have a clear picture of what is going to be required for that mitigation. So we're asking for your approval so that Cornerstone Earth Group can write the specifications for those bid documents.
Okay.
It will not exceed $7,500 to be paid with bond funds.
My follow-up question, thank you for that information, is knowing there are pesticides there and that it's complicated to mitigate that, this board, the rest of the board, requested a mitigated negative declaration in order to proceed with this. I voted against that because I think this requires an environmental impact report given the heritage trees that are in Westmore Park and that we have pesticides in Westmore Park in our community, surrounded by schools and school district families who live there. So my follow-up question would be, have families in the community been notified that pesticides and contaminants have been found at Westmore Park?
That is not part of the scope of what is required at this time. I believe that would have been the city's responsibility when they laid down those pesticides. And I don't know if that happened or not. But there is no danger to the community right now. The danger would come as, or, you know, the potential would be that the soil needs to be placed somewhere where it's not going to contaminate other places. And so that's why it needs to be, when it's removed, it needs to be treated in a certain way. But there will be no danger to the community.
Okay, so I remember asking last time if we knew why there were pesticides in the park, and nobody had an answer for that, but you did venture that the city, you're saying the city used contaminants and pesticides at Westmore Park?
So for the last, from the 1960s until the like around 2018 or so, the city had an MOU with the school district that they used that land as a park. They decommissioned it as a park in 2018. So for all of that time, the city is the entity that took care of the landscaping.
Okay, I guess my question is, when did we find out that they have been using pesticides at Westmore Park?
I guess when the soil analysis, just recently when this Cornerstone Earth Group completed the soil analysis.
Given that the city was involved in pesticides and contaminants at a park, still a park, it's a public park that for 50 years that we've had in our community, I would suggest that we explore an environmental impact report instead of maybe cutting corners with the mitigated negative declaration and slowing down this project to get a fuller picture of what the community needs and the health impacts of pesticides in Daly City, especially in predominantly low-income, people of color community who perhaps may have been impacted this over the years. So I would like to see the city involved at this point. I don't think we should move forward with this contract this time. I think it's a little inappropriate. I'm appreciating this.
Do you just want to make a motion to
I would like to hear
approve this? Because
I would like to make a motion, but I would like to hear some discussion from other trustees before we make any motion on
is there any discussion here?
Actually, then, if he wants to hear from another trustee, I will make a motion to approve this contract amendment for Cornerstone Earth Group.
Excuse me, that's a little inappropriate. I'm asking for discussion, not for somebody
I'm asking for discussion.
I just made
I'm not asking for somebody to shortcut me on a motion. That's inappropriate.
No.
Vice
so
President
there
Lee,
is-
I would
so
ask
is
you to
there-
work with some integrity.
So, okay,
as a
listen, I'm
board.
in charge of this meeting right now.
Please.
So is there discussion? I don't hear any discussion on this. This is just a contract amendment. So if you have a motion,
I've already made a motion.
okay, so you've made a, okay, there's no discussion. He made a motion to approve this contract amendment.
Second.
Okay, so now I will take a vote,
I'd like to
and
make a comment before
it'll
that.
be
I'll make
a,
a comment before that. It's highly inappropriate for another trustee to intentionally circumvent discussion and open discussion of serious issues in our community, especially those that affect health and our environment, before making a vote. So you can go ahead with procedure and make a motion.
okay.
Trustee Lee.
So
but that's
no,
inappropriate.
okay, so I allowed you to comment on
Yeah,
that, but.
I mean, my comment, it's
Can I
fine.
just say something
Yes,
really
please.
quickly? Is that we're not circumventing anything. I think you're talking about one issue, that's not the issue that's on the agenda. The issue is on
Right.
the agenda is that we did do the sample, we sampled the soil. We see that there needs to be mitigation, and we're doing the things that need to be done in order to keep everyone safe.
No, that's
So
fine.
that discussion, if you choose to see it another way, that is, that's why we're all 5 different trustees. But, I do, you like to talk about things being inappropriate. I will say that, you have an opinion, Andy has another opinion. I don't know why you have to tell him that he's being inappropriate for he's feeling like he wants to move forward. If you don't feel like you want to move forward, that's okay too, but I don't know why we have to say that he's doing something wrong by wanting to move forward.
No, he made a procedural move, Trustee Salahuddin, that was intentional to circumvent me making a motion. That's what just happened.
Right, but
Yes,
just.
I want to be clear so the public knows.
No.
It's not about a difference of opinion, it's about a difference of procedure.
No, but it's perfectly in his right to do that in procedure, just like you said earlier, it was perfectly in your right to pull an item from consent agenda, correct? It's perfectly within his right to call for the motion. These are all things that are perfectly okay within procedure.
I'm working in good faith. I would expect that from every trustee at this board. I would expect us to work with integrity and with respect instead of trying to shortcut each other.
So
President Tejada, I will defer to whatever procedure you're going to do at this point. We can vote on it, but I just want to note that. Thank you.
We're all working with integrity and respect, so I think that that's the problem that I'm having, instead of name calling and telling other people what they're doing wrong, maybe I just want to focus on myself and what I'm doing right. And, I will say that as a teacher, is that the kind of environment that you create to help other people learn? Because I feel like one of the ways to help people learn is to create the environment in which one feels comfortable doing so. And I think it's really uncomfortable when you say you don't have integrity, you're not acting in good faith, instead of helping us build us up. So to me, that's not language of support.
No, I don't think you understand teaching in the classroom environment at all if you're saying that, because I'm calling out something very clear, and you're trying to confuse the public. I'm here for democracy and for civic engagement. I'll expect that, President Tejada, and to move forward.
I understand. So
he made a motion. No, he made a motion. I'm going to honor that. If he wants to,
what I, as president, would like to point out,
that's okay.
and I would like for you to listen,
yes,
is that we have this covered. I've asked that we all sign this governance handbook.
Right.
And on page 13, it says, in bold, board members should contact the superintendent in advance if they have any questions on any agenda item or if they wish to pull an item from the agenda. So we can avoid this kind of thing. So let's move on.
Yeah, let's move on. Let's take the vote.
That's what I'm doing, right? Let's move on. So there's a motion, a second, and now I'm calling for a roll call vote, please.
Aye.
No.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now for item 17, consideration of future agenda items. Are there any? Okay. Can we have a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Meeting adjourned, 8:39.
Cards.
Okay. And this is